But we really have to turn our attention to the south. And here is Hermine. Remember, that was, what was that? That was 9, and it was 99L, and I guess it's just gone through some transformations anyway.
But Hermine is still going to be packing a mean punch.
This is the waves, 25 to 30-foot waves sitting out off the coast. You're getting all that wind and waves coming into the coast, and everything's starting to flood up, okay? That's nasty stuff. You get the idea. It's a bad storm, folks. Nasty, nasty storm. What they call this thing on Monday or Sunday and Monday, I don't care. It's a bad storm. So heed my warnings. That's the way it's going to be.
The storm surge is still a very real issue, along with beach erosion, a lot more rainfall, and the tornado threat, too. That continues through Friday morning and beyond.
I don't know if you know this. Thor News is for winners, and that's why you're here. So stick around.
We've got a video message.
I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this.
Hit the button, baby. Stay cool. This is a Thor News presentation. Thor News presents... Welcome to Asteroid Fight Club. I'm your host, Thor. Today we have a Freak Frankenstein Hurricane Tropical Storm Hermine. Is a new type of climate change Godzilla chaos beast we ain't ever seen before. All these many mysterious mythological factors are showing up to create one of the most bizarre and lasting storms we've ever seen. The storm is gonna hook around Florida, head up the coast, and then just hang out doing a rain dance in front of New Jersey, New York, and the rest of the area. This is wild. Storm surge is the big concern here. And storm surge is where you can't tell where the ocean begins and the sidewalk ends. So please, everyone, take this very seriously. Plan for the worst, pray for the best. And if the worst comes in of this scenario, it can be very, very, very bad. This system is going to last an entire week. And look at the equator. That thing is active. There's some crazy stuff going on in these storms. It's like all the good guys and bad guys and demigods and angels and demons across time showed up here for this big 2016 party. Well, God bless everyone. May the force be with you always, and live long and prosper. Now would be a good time for Earth to unite.
As this system, Hermine, moves to the northeast, it will start to stall this weekend off the mid-Atlantic coast. And if this storm stalls like we think, the damage in this area could be extensive.
Let's talk about the long haul of Hermine. Now, it is approaching Florida, will make landfall, then it tracks across Georgia. Beyond that, look at this, across South Carolina, North Carolina, impacting all of those states.
We must emphasize that, but some of the forecast models are showing it stalling out across the Northeast, offshore, as we get closer to Sunday. And what we're worried about, but some of the forecast models show it sitting offshore and spinning and hanging out all the way into Thursday of the coming week. But it's still not determined how far offshore the system is going to be.
And notice the movement paralleling the East Coast. That movement to the northeast is going to continue as we move forward. And then you'll notice that the movement goes off the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Then we could be looking at a stalling system along the East Coast of New Jersey, and that will cause major problems with beach erosion and flooding along the mid-Atlantic coast.
States of emergency existing right now across Florida, Georgia, on up through the Carolinas. This is a look at some of the shots that we saw from Thursday going into Friday. Do you know that such little moving water can sweep you right off your feet? And those tides running way above normal, the storm surge too. We have so many threats. Do not mess around with this storm.
And of course, along with the rain along the Carolina coast, there's going to be a strong gusty winds, also beach erosion and flooding, and of course major travel delays.
The radar picture of the storm coming up through Georgia right now with the tornado watches being issued. I'm going to head on out through Norfolk here by tomorrow. You guys in Norfolk are going to get winds on the back side of this thing, probably 45, 50 miles an hour wind gusts coming in here on Saturday. A lot of heavy rain, flooding problems going to occur down through the Carolinas with this thing. It's going to be the big problem today. It's mostly going to be the flooding. It's more up north is where the big problems are going to occur. Very interesting. So this is tomorrow morning. The winds are going to start to pick up by tomorrow morning. Heavy rain obviously is going to be going on. Then the storm pops out into the ocean by evening time. This is where the problem begins. Okay, now you're starting to pile up all this wind into the mid-Atlantic states. The storm starts to deepen because now you got the tropical storm here and you got a big high to the north. As we've been talking about, as the high starts adding spin, it's getting blocked, and now the jet stream's coming in over top of it. So you're taking tropical air underneath the jet stream, and everything's going to start to intensify. Yeah, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, this thing's really bombing out right off the coast. The pressure now is probably going to get down to about probably 990 millibars is probably what the pressure is going to go down to. By Sunday afternoon, you're piling up all this wind and wave action up against the coast, and this is where things are going from the good to bad, because now you're starting to get the overflow happening. The beaches are starting to get flooded. Things are starting to go downhill. Monday, the storm is still sitting here. It's a very strong storm sitting in here because there's nowhere to go. It's stuck because it's all the blocking that's going on. So you're still pounding these beaches down here with wind and wave problems and flooding. Once you get in, you ain't getting out. Okay, because everything's going to be flooded, because all the ocean's just going to come right up over the beaches and it's going to come in and flood everything up. That's the way it works down there. A very strong storm, okay, and whether they call this a hurricane, a tropical storm, an extratropical storm, subtropical storm, or just a low pressure system, I don't care what you call it. It's going to be a strong storm sitting down here that's producing wind and rain, and you're getting coastal flooding from Long Island all the way down to the Maryland beaches. All right, so now you can see Saturday afternoon. Now watch what happens. Sunday morning, it's out here, and then watch what happens when it bombs out, okay, and it backs up toward the coast. This is a large area now of 65 to almost 90 mile an hour wind gusts, okay, around the center of this thing, because it's bombing out. The coastal areas back here are probably seeing as high as 45 miles an hour. But the wave action is coming in now. 25 to 30 foot waves sitting out off the coast. You're getting all that wind and waves coming into the coast, and everything's starting to flood up. Okay, that's nasty stuff. You got this long fetch of wind coming in. So everything from right along the Jersey Shore all the way down to Rehoboth Beach, you're getting coastal overwashes and these big waves pounding up along the beaches. Okay, and I think that's it. Okay, so you get the idea. It's a bad storm, folks. That's the way it's going to be. Nasty, nasty storm. It's a bad storm. Okay, so heed my warnings.
Heavy rain, strong gusty winds, coastal flooding is going to be a big problem with some extensive beach erosion. We will see conditions deteriorating from south to northeast of the I-95 as we move through Saturday as well as on Sunday. Extensive beach erosion as we head through the weekend, and with a slow-moving storm system that's expected to sit offshore for several days, and with high pressure to the north and the flow in between these two pressure systems, we are going to look for a big problem, not only with damaging wind gusts and some rain at the coast, but major flooding and some extensive beach erosion.
And with the combination of the stalling storm, the combination between this Hermine and high pressure is just going to drive this wind for an extended period of time, an extended period of damaging wind gust. So that means we're looking at extensive beach erosion and major flooding.
This is where the dynamics are going to take over. You get the jet stream involved, and it just kind of slows itself down. It's just going to get stuck this weekend. Get up in here, kind of loop around, and stay here all weekend, and then head on out eventually next week. The implications of that is not very good for these Jersey Shore beaches, Long Island, and down to Delaware and Maryland. The overwash from the ocean coming in is going to flood all those places.